Hey there, I'm back with my shaky camera. Today I'm gonna be telling you something that I hope that not many people can relate to because honestly it's a financial detriment. And yeah, let's just say it has some effects that are not the best on me. Now I'm really obsessed with items. Maybe I would go as far as to say I'm a materialistic person, but I'm starting to think that everybody in my generation is also just completely hardwired to enjoy materialistic stuff thanks to all the marketing, thanks to the hype around the internet regarding you have to have a cool car, you have to have the best stuff, and here is this limited item and that. But where I'm coming from is I am extremely obsessed with finding the right item. So when I buy something, I rarely think of, yeah, let me just get something that does the job, and that's it. The bare minimum, just it works and that's it. I always tend to find something special, not necessarily because of its price value, or not that I'm thinking, oh, it's gonna be cool, I'll show myself as rich, even though it's hard to believe, I know. But in reality, I just find a design that I like, or this different elements to that object which came only at a limited time, really start this tingling my brain, and I'm like, I need that one, I need that one, I don't care, I need it, I want it right now. And that's a problem. Now, to give you a couple examples through the line as I go through this topic, now I have a couple items here that I will show, but let's just say the problem begins with the fact that the moment you like something that is discontinued, you are screwed. It doesn't matter if it's limited or not. You have to, first of all, finding it. If it is something limited and something that is popular, the issue is going to be it's going to be expensive as hell. But at least you can find it. But here's the truth on the other side. If it is something that is not popular, or maybe not even limited, then you are screwed, because it's very even hard to find somebody who values it enough to resell it. Let me switch my hands real quick because I know you like the shaky cameras. No, I'm just joking. But it's hard to find things like that, because if it's a basic object, let's assume you bought a simple small pocket knife back in the day. It wasn't limited, it wasn't too expensive, and you thought to yourself, yeah, I buy it for the functionality, I use it, it's gone. You will never think to resell it. Maybe you will throw it away. Maybe it will just stay in the drawer, but it's open, first of all. And second of all, you don't think about it too much. And not many people think also about it. And they just don't post it, don't try to sell it. And when somebody like me comes out and says, yeah, I saw this picture on the internet from a knife 10 years ago, and I really want it, and I'm screwed because I only see pictures at maximum when on Pinterest or somebody shared it on Reddit, whatever, and I'm completely out because there's no way I can get my hands on it. And I start obsessing. I obsess, and then I somehow find the item. I'm not both proud and not proud to say that I usually find what I'm looking for, because it does cost me a lot. Not only money wise, but also the time and effort that I put into it. So let me run you through something, starting with something very basic that nobody would think about: gaming mice. So you probably have a mice that you like. Maybe it was gifted to you. Maybe you just bought it on a discount. Maybe you just, I don't know, bought something that is lightweight that the pros use. Now, I am unfortunately obsessed with a mice lance head, so Razer lance head. The issue, for those who are unaware, which I'm pretty sure 90% are, because nobody gives a damn about an old mice like this, is that they discontinued it. Razer does not no longer produces lens head. I had one. I bought it. When I was buying it, I was just, it's a good design. It was my first Razer mouse, actually. Up until that point, I was always using these, knockoff brands, to be completely honest. And I bought the mice. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. And I was like, okay, I don't need one more. Let's see how long it lasts. Now, this did happen 6 years ago. 6 years ago. And last year, so I was always thinking, after 3 years of owning the mice, I was starting to think, okay, maybe at some point I should start looking into a new one. Not that there were any issues, and that's why I delayed it in the back of my head. You don't have to change your mice too often unless they break. So I was like, yeah, okay, maybe if it's broken. But last year, my mice broke. Well, not fully, but let's say when I would hold down one key, it would register the register and, click, unclick without me actually clicking or unclicking the button. I was just holding mouse 1, and it would randomly stop registering it as a click and then count it as a click again. It was terrible. It was terrible to move files around my desktop. It was terrible to play games with. And at that point, I went to the store to see what they had. They didn't have a Lancer head. Very good. Apparently, it was replaced by Viper. I'm not good at names. Whatever, that doesn't matter. So I started looking. Time to buy the same one again. Nobody's selling it. And when I was doing the research, I came across the fact that there is a white version. So I had some gray version of the mouse. There was a limited white edition. And I was like, oh, I want that. Now, not only was it already hard to find, this particular mice, just even in a box, nobody was thinking to resell them. They went out of production a while ago, a couple years ago. And I was looking for a particular one, white, which is even rarer compared to just generally finding one. Needless to say, it took me half a year or more, actually, to find one. I had to pay well for it, but I can proudly now say that I have it. I have it. I hesitated to use it for a long time. I am very happy with it. It wasn't completely new, but it still came with the box, very good condition. The guy who sold it, very amazing guy from Italy, actually. So, lovely stuff. Now, I'm happy that I got this. Now, of course, I'm afraid that, once it's gone, I'm screwed, because then it will be impossible to find it. But yeah, speaking of which, if you have one of these and you're like, okay, I can't sell it, well, let me know, especially if it's new in the box. Now, that is something basic. And you could argue it's useful, right? You want it, all right, go ahead, get it. You're using, at least I am using my computer daily for hours on end. So for me, this expense, even if I spend 100, I think at the end it cost me 120 euros to get this one. It's not terrible. And I justify it by saying, shit, at least I get to use it every day, right? Fine. But there are these things where you start thinking to yourself, that's a bit odd. Now, out of things that I cannot show you today because I don't have them here with me, I have a pen collection. Actually, funny thing, the first ever video on this channel is about a pen. And I like my pens. I really like, these writing instruments. I still use a notebook, pen and paper, all that stuff. But to be completely honest, recently, the big pen brands don't do anything interesting. So every interesting design is old, discontinued, limited, and that's a money pit. But I will talk about that in the future when I have all of them together. Now, what do you think of letter openers? Now, maybe 90% of you are like, that's the most unnecessary thing ever. Especially, coming from a young person such as myself, talking about letter openers. Just use your knife, man. Just use your hands. It's really not that complicated. You don't have to exaggerate it. This is not the time like it used to be that everybody's receiving only letters and it's a big deal. Well, of course, now I'm living in Germany now, and yeah, they like their paper stuff, which I find very strange, but nevertheless, I set out for a mission. I was like, I'm gonna get a letter opener. Now I'm a big knife guy. I really like my knives. I have a whole bunch of them also. A topic for another day. And I like Damascus steel. I just like the looks of it, how it feels in the hand. I like touching materials, as odd as this sounds. Titanium also being one of my favorite materials to touch. So I was looking, letter opener. Titanium, Damascus, you already know that this is going to be expensive, but whatever. I was like, sure, at least it's a knife that I can use for a very long time. It will never get dull. And I found one. Very interesting, from a German company, ironically, Böker. I probably butchered that name, but whatever. They made a Damascus. It was called Leopard Damascus. And interesting shape, very cool, but also discontinued. I even emailed the guys. I was like, do you still produce these knives? Like, do you maybe have one in stock or something? And I said, no. They said, apologies, sir. We don't have one. Shit. And this is where it began. I was like, all right, time to try to track one down somehow. It was also a limited run thing. All of them have like a serial number and everything. And what is ironic is, at the time, I didn't understand why it was called Leopard Damascus. Turns out they made it out of a tank steel. So anyway, I got one. The bottom line, I don't know how well the camera can have this. Like, this is just phenomenal, this thing. Like, I am so happy that I bought it. No regrets. But it did cost me a lot. I had to, get it from somebody in Australia. I'm very happy. It came with the whole box and papers. It was brand new. That's the lucky part of that, is it's brand new. It wasn't discontinued long ago, but still it wasn't easy to track down. I spent, again, almost close to 100 for a letter opener that now, after reading that, is actually the Leopard tank's steel used for it. And this is like this very special item. I once again am in my field of, I want to preserve it as much as I can. But nothing compares to the last item that I want to share to you. Now, we all know Swiss knives. Victorinox, they make these cute little knives. Now, what is interesting about these cute little knives is they make these limited editions of these small knives. And they started doing this, I believe, 2009, 10. I'm not entirely sure which year. But they each year had a theme. Each year had these little cute pictures on the small knife. It's called Classic SD, the model itself, and they would have a limited run. Now, maybe they no longer do a particular limited version of these, as far as I understood, but, you have the ones with some animals on it, you have world countries, football related, I saw some camping stuff, whatever. I'm a big knife guy, and I thought to myself, well, I need one of these. And I started looking. There are interesting ones with the steel patterns. There's new ones with Damascus. They have these aluminum body ones. So the small knife has a lot of variants. And I did end up liking quite a few, but all the ones that I liked up until that point were generally not limited, and I bought them to friends and family as gifts. I never really felt any of them completely for myself, 100%. I really liked them all, but not for me. Then I found one. In 2013, limited edition, they made one version with a fox on it. I personally like foxes. In my opinion, they're a very interesting animal. Hell, if I had the chance, I would have one as a pet too. And the design was really, smart, cute. I liked it. I thought it would fit me. And I was like, all right, I'm going to try to get it. Now, here comes the interesting part, why I think this is the best story I have regarding an item like this. Because believe it or not, nobody thinks too much of a classic SD Victorinox knife, which is limited, because they really don't have that massive of a value at the end of the day, and there is no real huge collector's hype around these things. And this being a knife from 2013, when I started looking at it, it had already been 9 years since the knife was out. What do? I started looking. The very few places where I found this knife in used condition, I was already okay with having it in used condition. No, it was an old listing. It always was an old listing. Somebody bought it. And it is one of those items that the challenge for me was not only was it so many years ago, but it was a very common item, I could argue. It's very basic. Nobody would treat it with, let's say, this collector's mentality. And there I was. I looked for this damn thing for years. Well, what am I meaning by years? Maybe 2 years I've been looking for this knife. And my luck, I did. These knives come when they're new, 15, 20, something like that. I paid almost 5 times the price of this thing. But would you believe me if I said I found one which was still like the only one that I was offered to be able to buy? I emailed multiple shops who had these knives, multiple shops who had some old stock from these old collections. Do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? No, no, no. All the time I heard a no. But one of them said, we might have one in storage, but we're moving storages, so you have to wait. I waited. Half a year I waited. I asked there in between, there was nothing, but at the end, finally, one night, as I'm about to probably go to sleep, I receive an email. One of the hundreds of emails that I wrote about this knife got a response. We found one in the storage. We're putting it up on eBay. Wanted to let you know in case you still are interested. And there was the link. I clicked the link. I saw it, original package, still brand new, and I instantly bought it. I, of course, thank very much to that person. Honestly, they are the MVP. They really saved my life. I've been looking for this for long. I bought it. It came in a package. It was hard to open it, but I brought myself to it because it would have been also stupid of me to look for something that I will not buy. Now, I use it as a keychain. Here it is. This little knife took me so long to find. And what is very cheeky about this is, you see this cute fox? Look at the back. Oh, it's hiding behind a tree. And for this, I was looking for like 2 years. And I overpaid. Of course I did. So it's an interesting obsession that I have. It's really odd, and I wanted to share this with you because I don't hear that many people chase behind certain stuff. I mean, this extends to, as I mentioned, knives, playing cards, bicycles especially. Oh God, that's pen. Also, that could be clothing items, that could be basically anything. A watch, a car. I just like something, and to my luck, I always like something that is just hard to get. Is not there, is gone. Even if you have the money, you need to find somebody who sells it. And it is costly, but also costly to me. My time and my obsession over these is really odd. Just wanted to share this with you. And hey, do let me know if you have something like this that you were also obsessed about, that you really tried to find, and when you got it, you're like, fuck yes, it took me so long to get it. But to be completely honest with you, at the end of the day, do buy things that you will enjoy. Don't buy them for anybody else's approval. Don't buy them for the fact that it is such a nice flex, or it's one of those things that everybody hypes up. Enjoy it. If you like it, then buy it. That's my biggest advice to you. And unfortunately, if your taste is like mine, you'll probably have to spend a bit of money on what others consider as silly things. But anyway, thank you for listening to my odd story, I would say. And as I mentioned, I will make sure to follow up on this once I get a hold of all my stuff. Now I've been moving around for the past couple of years, so I left majority of my things back home with my parents for safekeeping. Although, soon I think I will be able to move somewhere where I know I'm staying for a longer time. And then I will be able to showcase even more of this silly stuff that I have. And yeah, whatever it is that you're looking for, my parting message, I hope you find it. And I hope you, let's say, find it for a reasonable price that you can get. Oh well, I wish you a great day. And I'm looking forward to shake your screen like a total amateur again in the next video. Take care and goodbye.